Raz, I have one question. Is your program different from the other incubation program run across the world? If so, how?
That's a good question. And it excites me because, as usual, if I'm in the business of doing business and I'm playing the game of business by the rules of the game, with the right and thumb rule of the game, then I need to focus on USP, okay, unique selling point, and I also need to focus on the differentiators, and that is why I do need to talk about differentiated pitch. Okay, what is differentiated pitch? So I'm pitching for my service, and which is captioned as double quotes, disruptive, context-aware incubation as a service. I'm pretty sure that some people might think that this is something which is, abstract. Absolutely not. It is partially manual, with manual intervention, and partially automated as of now. And we are also trying to build two systems in parallel. One that is actually running as of now, and that is hybrid human-based computing model, service model, and the other is cloud computing service model, which will assist. Initially, it will assist and act like a complementary service model or a system to support the process of incubation. Now, any other incubation center mostly are based on multi-tenant model, where they actually charge a fee for tenancy, a lease fee, and some bundled services, random, sporadic manner, and for long period of time. It's kind of randomly spread. That doesn't make a lot of sense actually, because we are different in a way that we actually do it in a fashion which is context aware. Having said that, if an incubatee enters in our system, we actually try to profile, capture the attributes, overall attributes of the entity, either manually or through some computer assisted questionnaire, and we try to actually profile the entity post analysis. So once we do that, we actually come to know that this is an entity of a category A. And then there is a next incubatee. If we find that next incubatee comes in and is actually close to or relevant to, there is some kind of proximity between these two entities, A and B, or the next entity B, we actually try to bucketize them in the same category. There are some other questions that may actually come up in terms of the overlapping of IP, the superimposition of IP, and some kind of cross that may come up. We have a lot of answers for that, but we are not talking about that as of now. What we are saying is, incubation is something which is very complex task, and people think that it is easy. There are a lot of big companies that are doing that in the market, but believe me, they are actually failing, because there is a recent news where an investor, almost the world's largest investor, has actually pulled out its skin from the game in supporting a large incubator. I would not like to name neither the investor nor the incubator, okay? But it is important to understand that it's not only about the investment, it's not only about the capital investment or the operational expenditure that is done to run an incubation system. What actually is needed to understand the context. So that is why we talk about context aware. Having said that, one simple example which I'd like to give is, for example, there is an incubatee, okay? And if I start playing the role as an incubator of a co-incubatee, that means I'm trying to switch, just like between ozone and oxygen, O2, reversible O3. So I'm actually trying to, we generally say 3O2 reversible 2O3, okay? Sorry, let me correct myself. 3O2 and 2O3, fine. just as an example, I'd like to give this. Now there is a reverse play. So there are two states at any point in time. And these are transient states. So here I'm talking about a state where there is a seamless transition between an incubator and an incubatee. And I'm talking about an incubator playing the role of actually moving into the side of incubatee and playing as a co-incubatee. Then again he switches back his role and becomes an incubator and starts vetting the incubatee. Then in our model we have external and internal intermediaries. External intermediaries are invited by the incubator to actually vet the incubatee. So you have external perspective, external assessment, party assessment, you have internal party assessment, and also it is completely unbiased because we are playing the role of incubator, and when we play the role of any co-incubatee, we actually step into the shoes of the incubatee and then try to do things, understand things in the context of the incubatee. At the same time, we have internal intermediaries, captive, who actually vet this, but their viewpoint is totally different because they are also tenants in the same ecosystem. In some cases, they may be captive, they are hired by us. In some cases, they may not be. They may be just like any other tenant. So they are also vetting the system. You can imagine in real-time system, multiple parties cross-vetting into a given idea, a subject matter of interest makes a lot of sense. And thus, the chances of success, the probability of success becomes very high. And that is why we say smart, context-aware advisory, targeted advisory. Thank you.